There are journeys that begin with a map, edges drawn in ink, destinations underlined, and the signs posted along the way telling you you are right to keep going. But not this one. It begins somewhere quieter, not in a blaze of purpose, but in a space that asks nothing but your willingness to continue. You take the first steps not because you know what's coming, but because something inside of you answers a silence outside of yourself. You don't know what it means yet, but it feels like direction. It feels like enough. You begin to motion, not the kind that stirs wind or catches attention, but the kind that becomes a rhythm, too soft to hear from far away, but building day after day. And then you return again. Not because you expect a different outcome, not because something called you back, but because a thread tugs at you, tenuous maybe, unseen, but real. It's not the same as hope. Hope can falter. You give that to yourself. This is quieter, more steady, the feeling that things matter, even when no one's watching, even when nothing answers in return. You give what you have, time, focus, the effort that no one will ever measure, and you give it freely, though the part of you that once craved recognition has started to quiet down. It doesn't go away entirely, but it learns to sit still, to wait with you. Time becomes a strange kind of companion. Sometimes it stretches wide between the moments, and other times it folds itself over, blurring morning into evening into another quiet night. You stop marking it the way you used to, not because you've forgotten, but because you begin to measure things differently now. You learn to feel progress not by what you carry away, but by what stays with you. The stillness in your hand, the steadiness in your breath, the way you've stopped asking the same old questions and started listening to answers you no longer expect. There are moments, yes many, when it all feels slow. Not slow like rest, but slow like standing in a windless weather. You wonder if anything's really moving at all. You wonder if you've misunderstood the path entirely. But even those moments pass too, and when they do, you find you're still here, still present, still moving forward in small, quiet ways. And that's when you notice how deep the stillness has become, not because you stopped moving, but because you stop needing the world to move for you. The days layer onto one another. They don't shout. They don't arrive with banners or horns. They come like light from behind a cloud, faint but undeniable. You begin to know them not by what changes, but by what remains. And within that sameness, you begin to see the pattern. A repetition marked not by failure, but of faith, of choosing again and again and again. What gave back nothing yesterday and may give back nothing today may yet still bring something tomorrow. And still you return because something inside of you has become part of the waiting. And there are times where you doubt it all, when the path you follow vanishes beneath your feet and no voice answers your question. You're not wrong to doubt, you're not weak to ache, but the measure of what you're doing is not how certain you feel. It's in how you carry on, even when you feel nothing at all. That is what patience asked of us, not stillness, but presence, not silence, but willingness to remain, to reach, to continue, without being owed anything in return. Some days you feel it, a shift, barely perceptible, as if something beneath the surface has turned towards you, not revealed itself, but prepared to. You breathe differently, not lighter, not deeper, just more in rhythm with something you can't name. You begin to trust the quiet, not the comfort, but as a signal, not as proof, but as space. And the longer you live in that space, the more you realize you're not waiting for something to happen. You're becoming something that can meet it when it does. Eventually, you stop calling it patience. It's no longer a virtue you hold, it's something woven into you, part of who you are. Something that steadies your hand even when they tremble. Something that stills your breath even when your thoughts race ahead. The longer you stay, the more the world begins to respond, not because you commanded it to, but because you listened long enough to know what it was saying. Things don't arrive with certainty, they arrive with weight, presence. They arrive in moments that feel familiar before you understand them, and when they come, they don't explain themselves. They simply appear, fitting exactly the shape you've been carving into the days. You don't reach for them, you simply open your hand and find them already resting there. They don't sparkle, they don't declare themselves, but they are real, undeniably real. And more than that, they're yours, not given, not granted, not found by accident, not deserved, but present, because you made space for them to be, because you became the kind of person who could carry them without breaking, to hold on to them without clinging, and to walk on without needing to show them to anyone. Now you continue, not because you must, but because there's more. Not more treasure, not more reward, but more of the space that you've created, more of the time you've learned to hold without pressing forward, more of the self you've become by staying. You don't need to mark this as a turning point. There's no need to frame it, or explain it, or tell the world what happened. You know it. You carry it. You walk differently now, not because your path has changed, but because you have. And no one needs to see it for it to be real. No one needs to understand what it meant, the cost, the time, the effort. Because now, you're not searching for proof. You're not holding your breath. You're not waiting. You're simply moving forward, steady and full, not with urgency, but with the quiet weight of something truly earned.